Meeting called to order, time now 6 p.m. Public portion of the meeting begins. New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the rights of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest in accordance with the provisions of this act, the Business Administrative Board Secretary has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in municipal building, communicated to Herald News, the record, and filed with the clerk of Borough of Hawthorne. Roll call, please.
Joseph Carr.
Here.
Alex Clavijo.
Here.
Jennifer Archad is absent. Abigail Goff. Here. Erica Multi-Colson is absent. Anthony Palouse.
Here.
Lisa Spone. Here. Giselle Vega.
Here.
Marco Totaro.
Here. Everyone, please rise for flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Meeting regulations. During each regular meeting, 2 opportunities are provided for citizens to ask questions and to make comments. During the first opportunity, early on the agenda, the meeting is open to the public for the purpose of addressing items listed for approval on this agenda only. The second opportunity occurs just prior to adjournment, when citizens may address any subject matter that is pertinent to and or directly related to the operation of the school district. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, state their name, address, and subject matter. Comments and questions shall be addressed to the board president or presiding officer and shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. The board may or may not respond to the issues raised by members of the public at the time they are raised, but will provide a response if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Please note that the board will not respond to comments regarding students or board employees in light of the privacy rights held by those individuals. Moreover, the board discourages comments about such individuals and will not be responsible for such comments. Members of the public who choose to speak during the public session should carefully consider their comments, since they could be held personally liable for any statements they make. Finally, please note that in accordance with district policy, the board will not officially comment or respond to any matter mentioned unless it can confirm that the matter has first been brought to the attention of the appropriate school personnel in an attempt to resolve the issue. Public be heard, agenda items only. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to the budget presentation.
Thank you and good evening. Tonight is our budget hearing for the 26-27 school year and an opportunity to share where we are as a district, both financially and programmatically. Before we begin, I want to provide some important context about the nature of school budgeting. Across the state, school districts are facing financial pressure due to factors largely outside of our control. Rising inflation, increasing health benefit costs, and the continued growth in out-of-district placements and specialized services have all contributed to these challenges. These are not unique to Hawthorne, they're being felt statewide, and they have really created a strain on school systems trying to maintain the level of programming and support our students deserve. As a result, each year, and particularly this year, the superintendent, business administrator, administration, and Board of Education are faced with making difficult decisions that impact our entire community, our students, our staff, our administration, and our residents. Throughout this process, we remain grounded in one central priority: our students. They are at the center of every decision that we make, and they are the reason that we are here. We work to ensure that even in the face of financial challenges, we continue to provide a high-quality educational experience and necessary supports for all learners. With that context in mind, I want to be transparent about the important component of this budget. This proposal includes a 7.42% tax levy increase, which is higher than what our district has historically proposed. I understand that any increase, especially one of this size, raises concerns, and we do take that very seriously. The proposed tax levy reflects the reality of these financial pressures, but also our commitment to sustaining a strong educational program and supporting our staff and community. Tonight is about transparency. It is about helping our community understand not just what the numbers are, but why they are what they are, and how we plan to move forward in a way that continues to support our students, our staff, and the broader Hawthorne community. So as mentioned, like many other districts across New Jersey, we are facing significant financial pressures. This year, those challenges are being driven by several key factors. Number one, the rising inflation rates impacting the cost of goods and services across all areas of the district. Number two, a substantial increase in health benefit and prescription premiums projected at over 30%, resulting in a $2.6 million increase, the highest we ever seen to date. Number three, continued increases in out-of-district placements, including tuition and transportation costs, totaling approximately $2.3 million. In addition, a large portion of our budget, approximately 85% of it, is made up of fixed costs, including special education, tuition, salaries and benefits, and transportation. These are areas where reductions are extremely limited, and without directly impacting programs and services for students, we have to take them in consideration when budgeting. Despite these constraints, we have worked to identify reductions across multiple areas, including special education, transportation, technology, administration, instruction, and facilities. However, the reality is that the most significant driver in this year's budget is the sharp rise in health benefits costs, which alone accounts for $2.6 million increase over next year. Okay, before discussing the tax levy increase in greater detail, it's important to highlight the steps we've taken to control costs and operate as efficiently as possible. This slide represents intentional decisions to reduce expenses without compromising student services. We actively participate in insurance consortiums for liability and workers' compensation, as well as statewide and regional purchasing consortiums. These partnerships allow us to pool resources with other districts, ensuring more competitive pricing for instructional supplies, technology equipment, and special education transportation. We also participate in a statewide consortium to secure cost-effective internet access and utilize the E-rate program to offset telecommunication expenses. In addition, we maintain a shared service agreement with the borough for garbage and recycling. This reduces duplication of services and lowers operational costs for both the district and the municipality. We continue to maximize available revenue sources, including approximately $1.35 million in federal grant funding. Internally, we've gone creative also. We started the academic study at our high school that's already generated approximately $22,000 in savings over the past 3 months. Finally, we are working to bring more services in district, particularly in special education and transportation. This not only provides long-term cost savings, but also allows us to better serve students within their home community. At this time, I'd like to introduce our business administrator, Mrs. Vicali, to further speak to our financials.
All right, so let's get to the numbers. Our budget for next school year is a budget of $61,447,348. That supports instructional staff and programs across all our buildings with a projected enrollment of 2,342 students. Out of that total, 268 students are out of district, and we make note of that because we do pay for tuition and transportation for those students, which comes out of our general operating budget, a majority of them attending PCTI. One important thing to note is that we don't get any funding for students that go to vocational schools, so that impacts our budget. When looking at our tax levy, you can see that our general tax levy is increasing from $45.7 million to $49.1 million. That represents the 7.42% increase. As mentioned earlier, the primary driver in this is the rising health benefit costs, not program expansion or addition to any staff. It's important to note that districts generally are limited to a 2% tax increase and may only exceed that cap through specific allowable adjustments such as bank cap, enrollment growth, and healthcare cost increases. For this budget, the district did not have any bank cap available, and the only applicable adjustment was a healthcare adjustment, totaling $2,481,098. As mentioned earlier, health benefits, medical and prescription premiums alone increased $2.6 million. That means that even with the full healthcare adjustment, it's still not sufficient enough to offset the increase in the healthcare, leaving us with a gap that we needed to address. Taking the healthcare benefits out of the equation, our tax levy would have been up by 1.72%. On the positive side, debt service is decreasing from approximately $1.38 million to $1.2 million. That's about a 13% reduction, and this decrease helps offset a portion of the overall tax impact. So while the general tax levy is increasing by 7.42, the actual tax impact to the taxpayer is somewhat lower due to the reduction in the debt service. So what does that mean to the average taxpayer? With the average assessed home in Hawthorne of $381,800, the tax would go up an additional $43.35 per month. Again, rising health benefit costs, which are outside of our district's control, is what's driving this number. When we go to our revenues, you can see that the majority of our funding comes from tax levy, the largest portion at about 80%, followed by state aid and budgeted fund balance. We did receive a 6% increase in state aid from last year, but that still was not enough to bridge the gap created by the high healthcare costs. In regards to our budgeted fund balance, the withdrawals from our reserves are reflected here along with any excess surplus. In the next slide, we're going to go through our revenues more thoroughly. You can see once again, tax levy approximately $3.4 million increase. And that's a fixed cost, particularly because health benefits is out of our district control, as well as the tuition for vocational students. State aid went up $240,000. While this was helpful, it's still a modest increase compared to everything else going up. Budgeted fund balance also went up slightly, $22,000. And what is made up in the budgeted fund balance is our reserves, which I'm going to speak to a little more in the next slide. Miscellaneous and semi-revenue also went up slightly, but still minor considering the overall picture of all our other costs. Tuition went down slightly, and that's primarily due to the fact that we're going to try to service our resident students within districts, particularly in our special education programs. As a result, it's less available capacity to accept out-of-district students, which leads to reduction in tuition revenue. Special revenue funds, we're projected at 60% from what we received this year, but that number can certainly change once we get the actual figures from the state, which should be somewhere around June. But one thing to note about that is that these funds are restricted and cannot replace general operating revenue. Debt service is increasing by $218,000, and that does help offset the increase in the general tax levy fund, but it also reflects the sunset of one of our referendum obligations. Debt service aid is increasing by $136,000, which helps provide support for the current referendum debt that we have to pay for the next few years. So going through our reserves, as of the end of the 24-25 school year, our reserves are approximately $5.35 million. While that may seem significant, it's important to understand that these funds are restricted and earmarked for specific purposes. Capital reserve, for example, is legally restricted, and it's for large-scale projects, for building improvements and infrastructure needs, and cannot be used for the day-to-day operating expenses. Maintenance reserve is required for building maintenance and upkeep. So for the 25-26 school year, we withdrew $630,000 from capital reserve and $1.1 million from maintenance reserve to support necessary repairs throughout the district. For 26-27 school year, we are proposing to withdraw $1,151,511 from capital reserve for projects that will be done at the high school, middle school, Washington Elementary School, and the board office. and $645,802 will be withdrawn from maintenance reserve for required maintenance projects throughout the district. After these withdrawals, the remaining balances would be $1.3 million in capital reserve and $436,000 in maintenance reserve. This decision was carefully reviewed and evaluated as to ensure that we're addressing the current facility needs in our district while still preserving a portion of our reserves for next school year. Completely exhausting these funds would not be financially prudent, as it could leave the district unprepared for future capital and maintenance needs. So when we look at our expenditures for next school year, out of the overall $61 million budget, you'll see the largest portion of expenditures is within general and special education at 33%. That area also includes our salaries. Making every effort to ensure that our special ed students stay within the district is what is increasing the costs in that area. Followed by health benefits, which is at an increase of 21%, at a district tuition and support services are at 10%. So when compared to this current school year, once again, you'll see that health benefits is the largest driver in our budget increase, mainly because of the fact that we're with the state health benefits and we cannot leave the health benefits due to the claims experience of the district. In instruction, general and special ed, as I mentioned before, it's up by $935,000, and that reflects our efforts to keep our special ed students within district while also maintaining classroom instruction, supporting student needs, along with all the other salaries that go under that field. When it comes to capital projects, it's increasing by $560,000, and those funds are needed to support the improvements of our facilities, ongoing infrastructure needs, and the projects for next school year, which we'll get into in the next couple of slides. Some reductions we'll see is the out-of-district tuition, which you'll see that did decrease by $106,000, but that's largely due to our special ed students, which are graduating from our programs, and us managing placements and controlling costs and keeping students within district. However, one important thing to note is that the $2.3 million contract for our vocational school is in this line, and that did increase by 5%. Support services did go down by $256,000. Once again, an effort to bring in outsourced services for special ed and have our own staff perform those services. And that is the same with transportation. That went down by $86,000 because we will be bringing in out of district routes and have them done in-house. When it goes to maintenance, custodial services, and security, although that did go down, security alone did go up due to the sunset of the shared service agreement with the borough. So I'm now going to hand it over to Mr. Mignonelli to go further with the budget.
So this next part of the presentation transitions from understanding where we are as a district more into how we are strategically utilizing next year's budget to continue investing in student success. Given the tightness of our budget, the process required careful prioritizing and intentional decision-making. We are fortunate to have exceptional teachers, administrators, and staff who consistently go above and beyond for our students, which allows us to maintain strong programming even in a constrained fiscal environment. So from the technology perspective, there were several investments that we made this year for the benefit of our students. We're continuing our one-to-one initiative for students in grades 6 through 12, ensuring that every student has equitable access to digital tools that support learning both in and outside of our classrooms. A major enhancement this year is the implementation of a new parent communication platform known as Parent Square. This system streamlines communication between schools and families, providing a more consistent, accessible, and user-friendly way for parents to receive updates, engage with teachers, and stay informed in real time. It strengthens home-school partnerships by centralizing communication on one platform. We're also strengthening our cybersecurity infrastructure to better protect district systems. An updated phone server improves internal and external communication reliability across our schools. At the elementary level, we are updating our iPads for kindergarten classrooms using Apple iPad devices. At the middle school, we are updating our computer lab with new Apple Mac systems, ensuring students have access to current technology. We're also implementing across the district a visitor management system to enhance building security and ensure a consistent, streamlined process for monitoring school visitors. And finally, we're upgrading our wireless access points in our elementary schools to improve connectivity. From the curriculum instruction perspective, we're continuing to commit ourselves to maintaining and enhancing the strength of our academic program while also expanding opportunities for student choice, rigor, and engagement. We continue to support and grow our dual enrollment programs and AP course offerings to ensure students are challenged and prepared for post-secondary success. In the same spirit, we're introducing several new courses across our schools, including Rock Band 2, Dance 4, and Principles of Economics and Investing. At the high school level, we're also expanding AP options with new courses in cybersecurity, pre-calculus, and personal finance, broadening both technical and life-ready skill pathways for students. At the middle school level, we're introducing a new dance elective course at LMS, providing additional opportunities for student expression and enrichment. We are also launching the Track 1A program and completing our G&T audit, which will help ensure consistency, equity, and clarity in how advanced learners are identified and supported in our district. In addition, we're in year 2 of iReady, which continues to provide universal benchmarking, a strong teacher toolbox, and structured data days that support instructional planning and targeted interventions. And finally, we're continuing to invest in our professional development for all staff, including Conquer Math training, ensuring students are equipped with high-impact instructional strategies that directly support student achievement. From the special education perspective, our special education program continues to be a district strength, and in many ways, it's second to none in terms of the quality of programming and support provided to students. We are continuing the successful implementation of our Bear Cave program, which provides a highly supportive and structured environment for students ages 18 to 21, focused on building independence, life skills, and post-secondary readiness. We're also expanding our partnership with Columbia, strengthening our ability to provide specialized expertise, enhanced services, and additional supports for students and staff. A continued priority is reducing our out-of-district placements, as Ms. Vitale mentioned earlier, by ensuring that we are building internal capacity to meet a wider range of student needs within our own schools. And while there's a financial implication to this, obviously, we also want to ensure that we're keeping students connected to their home school district whenever appropriate. And as students' needs continue to grow and evolve, we're responding by expanding targeted training and instructional support for staff. This ensures that our teachers and school personnel are equipped with strategies, tools, and expertise needed to effectively serve all learners. We did want to highlight the projects that we completed this year from the facilities perspective, because we're quite proud of some of the things that we accomplished. We're going to talk about a couple of the things that we also have planned for next year. So from the 25-26 completed projects, district-wide, we rekeyed every exterior door to a master key system, strengthening and building security and improving access control across all of our schools. At Jefferson, we completed playground and parking lot paving, enhancing safety, traffic flow, and overall site accessibility. At Roosevelt, we had multiple major upgrades, including sanding of the gym floors, playground and parking lot paving, removal and installation of a new side entrance stairs and railings, and a full roof replacement. And at Hawthorne High School, we completed side parking lot paving. At LMS, we did a roof replacement and an installation of an HVAC system in the gym. For next year, we have some large projects that we're using capital funds to fund. At Hawthorne High School, we're planning the installation of a new security vestibule and the renovation of a second and third floor bathrooms. So that's 2 bathrooms in total. At LMS, planned work includes the installation of a security vestibule. At Washington, we will complete playground and parking lot paving to continue upgrading outdoor student spaces. And at the board office, we will be reconfiguring existing space to create dedicated offices for district-level staff in a shared conference room. So looking forward, our continued focus remains on strengthening instruction in all of our classroom. High-quality teaching and learning will always be at the core of our work, and every initiative moving forward is designed to support that goal. We'll continue advancing our instructional technology initiatives to ensure students and staff have the tools needed to engage in meaningful, modern learning experiences. The implementation of our Track 1A program at our middle school and the completion of the GNT audit will help us further refine and strengthen how we identify, support, and challenge all learners in a more consistent and equitable way. And a key priority moving forward is retaining our students within the district by continuing to enhance programming, supports, and opportunities that meet a wide range of academic and social emotional needs. As mentioned, we spend $2.3 million sending our students to out-of-district schools. That said, I will go on record stating that we have an exceptional high school here in Hawthorne, supported by outstanding administrators, dedicated staff, and hardworking students. Our upgraded facilities, personalized and caring environments, and strong community support all contribute to this truly special place. There's no better place to be than here. I also must say that our high school is setting our students up for success. The Bear Decision Instagram page speaks to this, highlighting students who are attending institutions such as Penn State University, Indiana University, Villanova, NJIT, UConn, Seton Hall, Ramapo, Johnson & Wales, as well as those pursuing service in the United States Marine Corps and other esteemed institutions. This reflects a strong and intentional commitment to preparing students for a wide range of successful post-secondary pathways and futures. We are also focusing on strengthening the connection between our schools, ensuring alignment, collaboration, and consistency. We're expanding our college and career pathways, as mentioned before, with our AP programs and our dual enrollment programs. And ultimately, our work was the theme of what this whole school year was, which was connection, community, and opportunity, which will be the goal for years to come. By staying focused on these priorities, we continue to build a district that supports every student, every day, in every classroom. In closing, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to the Board of Education, our dedicated staff, and the entire community for your ongoing support and commitment to our students. Your partnership is essential in helping us to create the conditions where every student can learn, grow, and succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt and Sandy. We'll move on now to the budget action items. Chairperson Louis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Finance and Administration recommends the following resolutions. B1, the approval of the budget for the 2026-2027 school year. The Board of Education of Hawthorne hereby adopts the following budget for the 2026-2027 school year. The budget includes sufficient funds to provide curriculum and instruction, which will enable all students to achieve the core curriculum content standards and is in compliance with NJSA 18A and NJAC Title 6 and 6A. Total expenditures and revenues in the amount of $61,447,348. The 2026-2027 budget reflects that the district has an automatic adjustment for increase in healthcare costs in the amount of $2,481,098. On page 4, B2, approval of statement of purpose. B3, approval of withdrawal from capital reserve. B4, approval of withdrawal from maintenance reserve. And B5 and B6. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Vega.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff? Yes. Ms. Multi-Coulson?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mrs. Spohn?
Yes.
Dr. Vega?
Yes.
Mr. Totaro?
Yes. We're on to personnel. Mrs. Goff is going to be speaking on behalf of Mr. Downshaw.
Sure thing, Mr. President. The following resolutions are pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools. P1 on page 5. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Mulkey-Coulson. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes.
Ms. Multi-Coulson?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mrs. Spohn?
Yes.
Dr. Vega?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Totaro?
Yes. All right. Back to Chairperson Trujillo for Finance Administration.
Thanks again, Mr. President. Action items pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Finance and Administration recommends the following resolutions. On page 5, F1, on page 6, F2, and F3. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Palouse. Discussion?
I'd just like to remark on F3, we're going to be approving a consultant for the payroll clerk. Recently, we received the resignation from our longstanding payroll clerk. And based upon the timing of the year, the urgency of the budget, and the fact that we're approaching the end of the school year, we made a decision that we would be outsourcing to a vendor who had experience in doing payroll systems to ensure that our financials were in good shape. So the plan with that individual, who is a very competent individual who's been working in payroll for an extended period of time, is to approve him through June 30th. And then after June 30th, we'll reevaluate and determine how we want to go forward.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gov?
Yes.
Ms. Multi-Coulson?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mrs. Bone?
Yes.
Dr. Vega?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Polito?
Yes.
Mr. Totaro?
Yes. All right, moving on. Public be heard. At this time, members of the public may ask questions or make comments on educational issues or school matters. Seeing no one's going to the mic. We'll move on to general comments, new business and old business. If you don't mind, I'm just going to share a little something on behalf of the Board of Education under general comments, and then I'll move on to Mr. Palouse. I'd like to first take a moment to extend my sincere appreciation to my fellow board members for their commitment, professionalism, and dedication throughout this entire budget process. I would especially like to recognize our Finance Committee, led by Chairman Trujillo, for their leadership, diligence, and countless hours spent reviewing, analyzing, and challenging every aspect of this budget to ensure we made the most informed decisions possible. Additionally, I want to thank our administrative team, our building administrators, Superintendent Mr. Mignelli, and our business administrator, Mrs. Sandy Vicali. Your expertise and tireless effort have been instrumental in guiding us through what has been an extremely complex and demanding process. As outlined in our prior public statement in March, this budget was developed during a particularly challenging fiscal environment. Rising costs, most notably the significant increase in health benefits, along with the operations and contractual obligations, have placed substantial pressures on the district, requiring careful and strategic decision-making at every step. To provide important context to our community, without the increase in health benefit costs, again, the tax levy would have been approximately 1.72%. That single factor alone demonstrates the magnitude of the expense and is the primary driver behind why this board was required to adopt the maximum levy of 7.42%. This process has taken months of work, including late nights, difficult conversations, and at times, very hard decisions. Every decision made was done with one goal in mind: to ensure we continue to provide the appropriate level of education for our students to thrive, while also maintaining our responsibility to be fiscally accountable to our taxpayers. As I stated at our March meeting, this budget was developed out of necessity, not preference. That message still holds true today. We recognize the impact that these decisions have on our community, and we do not take that lightly. However, we firmly believe that through this process, we have positioned the district to remain stable, continue delivering strong educational programs, and meet the needs of our students, both today and into the future. Thank you. At this time, move on for general comments or anything else.
I'm good, thank you.
I have a couple things to say.
Please.
I was trying to fact check some numbers, but I couldn't find them. I want to thank Ms. Vicali, Mr. Mignelli, the Finance Committee, everyone involved in the budget, the administration. I know how difficult this season was. You were asked to make some difficult decisions. I appreciate everything that you guys do. as one of the longer standing members up here, I don't like to single myself out as the longest because that makes me pretty old, but as one of the longer standing people up here, I know how hard everyone has fought to get to this place and to preserve it. I had no problem going with that number, 7.42, because I know how hard everybody fought to get here. And I would defend that to anybody. The positions that we have created, that we have fought to get back, the students we have fought to keep, the athletics we have fought for, the higher level classes, the lower level classes, and everything in between. And I would defend that number on the streets to anybody. And I'm very appreciative to the board members that sit beside me who support that as well. Just seeing it over the long-standing period of time, it makes me sad that we're here again. Unfortunately, you know, the state, the formula they use is a mystery with the state. I'm appreciative for the extra $240,000, but you never know what you're going to get, and you have to make a budget somewhat blind in the beginning. But I'm appreciative for the extra money. We don't know what next year will look like. And any cuts made this year carry over to next year. I think the general public doesn't necessarily understand that all the time. When you cut a position, that position's gone. So any future budget is made without that number in it. So to cut things, it's so hurtful to a district. And I think thoughtful decisions were made by everyone in this room. I appreciate you guys coming here tonight to sit here with us to make this announcement. It's not easy. We understand the burden it may place on the public. We are taxpayers too, but I'm just very appreciative that everyone up here agreed to support it, because I think it's very, very necessary. I want to also comment on the out-of-district tuitions. We had said that there were 268 out-of-district tuitions. Of those, 227 are PCTI students. While I respect that everyone has a right to apply and to go, that is $2.4 million of our budget that goes directly out the door. It's not a student that walks into this high school or steps onto this campus. That's a hurdle, a large hurdle to overcome right out of the gate. They got an enormous amount of state aid this year. That's what I was trying to fact check and look for. I've heard some very large numbers. With a little over double of our population, I think they got easily 10 times the amount of state aid that we got. So that's what I mean when I mean that the formula is a bit of a mystery. It doesn't make mathematical sense. I'm not a mathematician, but I can kind of understand like inverse relationships, but it doesn't make sense to me. It's hard. It's hard to combat that when you're you know, they're just given all different sorts of opportunities. But again, I will say it, and I've said it a million times. I have a college student right now who is living his best college life and doing wonderful things out in that wild world out there because of this district, because of the opportunities that he had here. And I have a daughter who's here who is just thriving, again, because of the opportunities here. So I'm eternally grateful to everyone for that. And I just wanted the public to know a few of those things, because you don't know some things, and it's just unfortunate. But I would defend that number. I defend everybody in this room, the decisions that were made, because it's important. We have to keep as much as we can, and if that means that we have to go up a little bit more for the 1 year, I'm okay with that. And I know it wasn't easy, but thank you to those who had to make that decision as well.
We're going back before we move forward. Go ahead.
I just would like to piggyback on what she's saying. Just one key point is that the amount of money that they get is for high school.
Right.
And what comes out of our budget is from K through 8, K through 12.
Pre-K.
Pre-K.
K through 21.
Yeah, correct. So you're taking our entire district, and the funds that leave here are going just for high school. So, you know, again, they have the right to go there. It's a great school, but it's an unfair. It's like having two kids and you give one kid $10 a week and the other kid gets $100 a week. Who do you think is going to have a better life? So again, just piggybacking on that, it's our entire district, pre-K through our 21-year-old program. Thank you. Leaving here to go just for high school programs. That's all. Thank you.
I'm sorry, National Round Up, buddy.
Yeah, we do. It's good.
I agree with everything they've said so far. I don't think there's anything I could add to that that would make this any easier. I hope we're wrong, that what we're hearing is next year is just gonna be just as tough, if not worse. I hope those rumors aren't true. And I also hope that anything that was cut can be brought back eventually. And we can stop dipping into that capital reserves we've worked so hard to create. I know many years ago there was no reserve. So that scares me a little because Dr. Sprito worked really hard to get some money in the bank. But these are, unusual circumstances, so I don't really know what else we could do at this point. But I am nervous for next year. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're all wrong. That insurance isn't going to go up again, a large percent. So we'll see. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with everything everybody said. I just want to thank everybody so much. Everybody put their heads together. I mean, when you talk about thoughtful, creative, and just so hard working on this, from the administrators, Mr. Mignonelli shared with us how passionate you all are and how creative you were in solutions, so thank you. And I mean, we just kept coming back in rounds and rounds and rounds to this, and I just really know that as a community, we're gonna step up to this and we're gonna do what we need to do to get to next year and to have a successful year, so thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Bain?
So I did put together a quick little statement. I want to speak briefly about why continued community support for our public school matters now more than ever, especially during this period of financial uncertainty. I wanted to point out that every single astronaut aboard the NASA's Artemis II mission was educated in a public school system. That fact alone says something powerful about what public education produces when it's nurtured and valued. It reflects the strengths of our teachers, administrators, and school communities who work every day without the financial advantages that's often seen in private institutions or specialized academies. Our educators are not here for the prestige or the profit. They're here because they believe in the work. They stay because they see potential in every single student who walks through their doors, and they're motivated by the moment a student becomes a medical professional, an innovator, a craftsman, a productive and contributing member of society, and even an astronaut. That kind of outcome does not happen by accident, and it's built through commitment, consistency, and community investments. As we navigate these financial challenges, I just ask that we all remain united and supportive of our schools, not only in our resources, but with additional trust and belief that the people who make these decisions are doing it for the students. Thank you.
Thank you. All set.
Yeah.
Mr. Carr?
You stole my thunder. I just want to thank the administrators and the staff here in the Hawthorne Public School District. They do an amazing job. This being the sixth year I'm up here, I know from the finance position, this was probably one of the most challenging budgets that you guys have looked at and had to negotiate and navigate through. It wasn't easy, and kudos to everyone, especially Mr. Mignelli and Ms. Vitale. Again, there were some tough decisions made, but I think everyone here did the best they could with what they had.
My turn. I also have a statement. Every budget season presents challenges, and this one was no exception. This year, however, turned out to be the most challenging one in my 13 years thus far. To Mr. Carr's point, there were tough decisions to make. We are cognizant of the responsibility we hold and the financial and human impact our decisions have. These decisions were not made lightly. The 30% increase in health insurance benefits represents 77% of our tax levy increase. Let me say that again. The 30% increase in health insurance benefits represents 77% of our tax levy increase. We are unfortunately in good company. As reported by NJ.com, Patch.com, and the Bergen Record, neighboring districts have also had to make deep million-dollar cuts while still raising their tax levies to historic levels. These tentative budgets include Hackensack at a quote, roughly 9%, Wayne at 8.01%, Cherry Hill at 7.4%, Holmdel 7.1%, Westwood at 6.7%, Lacey 6%, Lakewood at about 6%, Middletown 3%, which follows last year's increase of 10.01%. Ocean Gate School District's rejection of the proposed increase of 27% is forcing them to consider closing schools, along with other districts in their efforts to make ends meet. A further concern is that the coming year is anticipated to be a challenging one as well. We call on the powers that be to step up their efforts to resolve the health benefit crisis for the sake of public education and the taxpayers who foot the bill. While we're volunteers, rest assured, we are seasoned and surrounded by solid professionals. We will continue to remain vigilant on our end. I want to thank our administrators, staff, finance committee members, fellow board members, auditors, and both our superintendent and business administrator for the effort poured into this year's budget development. And to end on a happy note, I just want to plug in the CPAC's color run coming up this Sunday, so, which is what it's all about. So.
There you go. Thank you, Alan. At this time, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Dr. Vega, seconded by Ms. Mulkey-Coulter. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Dahl?
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Coulter?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.